Welcome to today's episode of the Dirty Bag Podcast. I'm your host, Cookie, and today we're going to take our shoes off and we're going to laugh a little bit. So, I've always felt that comedy is healing. It's the thing we need in these times when we're uncertain, when we're trying to unpack life and all that. The best way to do it. If you cannot laugh at yourself, life, or any circumstances, we just ain't going to get through this shit. So,
Right.
today I'm joined by comedic genius in my eyes, and we'll get into
Oh,
why.
thank you.
Mo
Thank you.
Hill. So we're gonna get into this journey today. So first off, foremost, before we even get lost and everything, let folks know how to find you, and then kind of just tell us a little bit about
Yeah, absolutely. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Mo_funny. That's with three Y's, Mo_funny. And then you can find me on YouTube. You can follow my YouTube channel at Mo Hill Comedy. So those are the three places that you can find me on social media.
you. Hey, so first off, how long you been in the game? How long you been grinding out this comedy thing?
So I've been doing improv comedy probably for like 10 or 11 years. And then I've been doing stand-up comedy for like the last 3.5 years.
Oh, so you in this thing.
A little bit. A little bit. I'm seasoned in improv. Stand up, I'm still an infant. I'm still a baby.
But you touching everything though. That's all that matters. But
Yeah.
what what got you in the comedy? Like what was your moment in life where you said, you know what, I'm funny as shit. I'm about to do something with this.
I mean, well, first is like my personality and growing up. Like I've always had a big sense of humor since I was a kid, and I've always been like a roaster at heart. Just growing up in the family that I grew up in, like you kind of had to know how to hold your own with the jokes. And then
Right.
as a kid, I just kind of grew up in the neighborhoods where I just learned how to be funny, but I didn't really start trying to do it as a career or think that I could do something with that until I want to say like my sophomore year of college. Um, I knew I didn't know what I wanted to be, but I knew I wanted to do something that I love to do. So I joined this improv theater in Dayton, Ohio, with the Rice State University. It was an improv theater that just started in Dayton, Ohio. I joined and graduated that theater. I was performing there for a little while, and then I came to Columbus and joined another theater, and then I kind of transitioned into stand up from there. So I'll say back in college, I kind of knew that I wanted to do something to be able to use something that was a part of my personality.
So you a student of the game for real.
Oh, for real, for real. Like I've been when I was a kid, before I ever got into comedy, I used to beg my mom to stay up and watch Comic View, like way back in the day. Like I used to stay up every single
Oh.
night because Comic View came on after we had to go to bed. So I used to have to ask my mom to stay up. So I know all these Def Comedy Jam comics and all these Comic View comics from way back when I was like 9 and 10 years old. So I've been watching comedy since I was a kid.
Y'all can tell he's seasoned right because I'm seasoned. If you don't know anything about
Yeah.
Comic View or Def Comedy Jam, this episode might not. You too young for this episode.
Like I mean, I go back to where my mom. We used to have this. How far back I used to watch comedy. We used to have the bootlegs of Medea's plays before they was movies. That's
That was
how
the
far
best
back
content.
it was, and I didn't realize until later in life. I'm like, I used to watch these as when he had the original stage plays, and they were on bootleg DVDs. I probably still got one in my garage somewhere, but there was the original Tyler Perry plays. That's how far back I used to watch that kind of stuff when I was a kid.
Yeah. That was
Yeah.
my well. First of all, I guess I'm showing my age. I'm older. That's what I had learned about the bootleg plays when I was in college. So like when
Hmm.
we didn't go to the club, we would just watch Medea plays
Bootleg play.
before there was
Yeah,
ever a
on the
movie. I think
plays.
the
Yeah.
movies low key ruined it for me. Like
It
there's
did. I
something
thought the
about
plays was
theater.
better. Yeah, I love the
Yeah.
plays. Plays were funnier. They're more authentic.
Yes.
Um, I love the plays. I watched all those plays back to back to back to back because that was the only thing we really had to watch outside of like Def Comedy Jam DVDs that I used to have.
Yeah. So I gotta ask you, because
Hmm.
that's to me, that was comedy. To
Hmm.
me, the landscape of comedy is changing. How do you feel about it now? With people having, and how does it affect your work? With people having to be so PC or being worried about being canceled, so trying to tailor their content to, walk that fine line. Like, how do you view it now?
I mean, it's it's a catch 22 because like to be I guess the short answer is I feel like yeah, it's with social media nowadays and everybody being PC. A lot of us younger comics, we have a fear of ending our career before it ever starts. You know what I'm saying? So you
Yeah,
kind of have to tread a thin line, whereas a lot of the older comedians are like, nobody's ever actually been canceled. If you really think about it, like who's actually
nobody.
officially everybody has come back from being canceled. Ari Shafir, when he said the stuff about Kobe, he was canceled for however long. The baby was canceled for a few minutes. Even Cosby was canceled for a few minutes. Like nobody's ever just canceled, but it's the
Yeah,
fear, because you never know who's going to be officially canceled. So it's tough to navigate because when you write jokes, you try to like you in the back of your mind, you're like, I don't want to get too crazy, especially as a black comic. You don't really get as much leeway as white comics do in this world. Unfortunately, it is what it is.
you don't.
So so yeah, I mean it's tough. It is. You got to navigate and know what to say. But I don't really worry about it that much because a lot of the things that I talk about aren't really things that like are PC. Like I don't really get too deep into things that are like political or religious. So I don't
Yeah.
really be that pressed about it, to be honest with you.
That makes a lot of sense. And I asked the question a while back. I was like, so everybody, who are y'all favorite comedians now? And I asked the question because it was one of those weeks where everybody, I think people were coming at Dave Chappelle that week and somebody else. And I
Yeah.
was like, well, can y'all just give me a list of people that are okay to listen to? And I'm just being funny when I say it. I love comedy. I will listen to the old shit all day, every day. That's literally how we learn how to survive, like
Hmm.
from those punchlines. Like we all took them and incorporated it into our personal lives. Like most
Right.
of our comebacks, it typically comes from a comedian. But nobody
Hmm.
really had a real response as far as who their top five was. Because to name your top five, and today they would probably be canceled. So that's real. And with you, I watched some snippets of one of your shows one day, and somebody in the audience was trying you. So I mean, you trying to be politically correct, you always have those people in the audience that might push you to say some wild shit. How do you
Yeah.
deal with that? Because you claim the I think you were talking about somebody being high.
Yeah.
Well, there was a
Uh
few. There was a few occasions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just so the thing about me is like I roasting is my wheelhouse. Like that's something that I have always had in my system. Like even people that went to elementary school or middle school with me, they know like I was a functioning class clown. Like that's what I called
What the
myself.
hell?
Like I got my work done, I got good grades, but I was 100% flaming everybody all the time. So so it's just I just know how to respond and be sarcastic and say things, but I also know how to roast
Right.
without ever getting to like some people that don't know how to crack jokes, they'll say some stuff like, "That's why your mom died," or something crazy. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
those are the people
Right.
that don't really got jokes. The first thing they try to do is, carve as deep as they can. I'm very good
Yeah.
at roasting surface level, like physical appearance thing, like not to get like too deep on people. It's an art at the end of the day, like being able to roast and say certain things. Like I know how not to cut people deep personally, you know what I'm saying, or say nothing too crazy. I'm very, that's probably more of my improv background, just being able to look at the person and go, okay, if say for example, if that person was a transvestite, for example, like I might stay away from certain roasts that I could say that might really pinch a nerve with that person. You know what I mean? Or if it's an
Right.
old person, I know how to probably stay away from certain things that might pinch a nerve with that person. So it's just experience and just knowing who I'm talking to. If I could see you, if I can't see
If
you,
you,
I can.
you, if I can't see you, I'm gonna get you.
Yeah, I can't see you. I'm just gonna make it up in my mind. I don't know what's gonna
Yeah.
happen. So
You're strategic about who you come for.
yeah, and how I do it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, what does your support system look like with that? I know that with any art, there's always the family and friends question the career if it's not the typical desired path that parents want us to go on, doctor, lawyer, things like that. What was the response to you wanting to be a comedian for a living?
Um, Honestly, the response has been I've been blessed enough to not necessarily, at least in my immediate circle, everybody's been supportive. They kind of already knew because I've been doing improv for so long that a lot of people figured this would end up being my path at some point. People close to me. I wasn't really vocal about my comedic life before stand up and doing skits online. It wasn't until last year and me putting stuff out that I was actually vocal about it. Um, So everybody, my friends, immediate friends, they were very supportive. And since I've kind of gotten a buzz in the city, everybody's been very supportive. And then as far as my parents go, my dad, I mean, he's not really on social media, so he don't really see it. He just hears about it from everybody else. And if I send him something, he says he's proud of me. My mom, I mean, I know she loved me, but she could care less. I don't know. She's not.
Damn.
I'm just
Mama's gonna
being
give a shit.
honest. She don't give a fuck. She don't care. I mean, she just,
Does she
but I
think you
know
funny?
it's, I mean, she laughs, but it's not from, I don't think it's from like a malicious place of like, I could care less what you do. I just don't think she really understands it because she comes from a different era of life and working and doing this and that. I mean, she knows that I'm able to take care of myself and I'm doing well in that regard. But I think until like I do something drastic like buy her a house or she sees me on TV or something like that is when she gonna be like involved or engaged. Like so, but it's her values that
Run the
got me
back.
here. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like yeah, but it's her values that got me this far. So I mean it's still working at the end of the day.
It still work at the end of the day. And I want to get into some of your content. So I
Yeah.
think one of the big things, especially with TikTok and stuff, and with the era of Kevin Samuels and all of that, a lot of folks use social media within this whole battle of the sexes deal. Men
Mhm.
telling women what they need to do, and women telling men what they're not doing. And you took a totally different approach.
Mhm.
I really call it the trifecta skits. That's in my mind. That's what I refer to them as.
Yeah.
I'm at home minding my business one night. I'm pretty sure I was super buzzed, and I'm mindlessly scrolling, and I see this skit, and I'm like, "Well, hold on, okay," and I'm dying laughing because I'm like, "This is genius," because no man ever really lets anybody in to what's
Yeah.
going on in their dealings
Right.
with women, dates and
Mhm.
things like that. So, first of all, for people that don't know, you kind of break it down because you're going to explain it a lot better than I do, and where it came from.
So do you talk about the original idea for how I came up with the first one?
Yes, yes.
So I got the idea from so Richard Pryor is on my Mount Rushmore of stand-up comedians, my favorite comedians of all time. Like I've watched so many of his stand-ups so many times since I was a kid. And the one thing that he is notorious to me for is his ability to personify his comedy. If you don't know what personification comedy is, it's basically when you bring inept objects to life. A lot of comics do it. Like if you bring your arm to life, what personality would your arm have in a situation? Like in Richard Pryor's case, like he always brought different things to life: the animals, the motor in his car, his tires, his arm, his chest, whatever would have a personality to say, like, what would they say if they were people in this exact situation? So the day before I made the first video, I had watched his stand-up, Richard Pryor live in concert, the night before, and at the time I was kind of going through something with a girl that I had been dating, and I was like, what if I just personified what I'm feeling as a man in this moment? And that's when I came up with the idea, and then from there I just kind of perfected it by doing it so much, and I just took different scenarios that men go through, and I just was like, okay, what happens in these scenarios, and then I kind of started to give each of the characters their own personality within these different scenarios of men, because in all honesty, every aspect, men are simple creatures. That's why there's only three characters. I did that on purpose. We're very simple. We're simple and physical creatures. We're not complex individuals. Women are more emotional and they're more complex, so that's why it's simple.
Yes.
And then I tried to give the different personalities of the thing, because you can't, all three don't have the same personality. So I try to, use a lot of my improv and acting skills to try to give them personalities within those situations to see, give people an idea of how we battle internally when it comes to a lot of the things of dating.
And I don't think anybody would ever admit that the battle between your man, your heart, and your brain. I feel like,
Mhm.
have you ever been told that like you violating God code with these
Man, I've
skits?
had a few guys. So this is the thing. I've had a few dudes, and they might. I don't know. Obviously, I can't hear the tone. Some dudes be like, "Man, you giving away secrets," and I'm be like, and I never respond to them. But I mean, I'll respond here. But like, it's nothing nobody already knew. You just didn't know what it was called. It's nothing nobody ever seen, and it's nothing nobody hasn't chose to deal with. I'm just giving you a comedic relief behind it. This is no secret. This is not a secret. Everything that we see or do, we're all choosing to deal with on a regular basis. We just don't know what it is when it happens. Like that's all it is, you know?
I feel like I learned from the skits. I'm sorry. I'll be watching them like, oh, word. Like it's comedy and it's funny, but then it's like, let me go back. So what you saying
Yeah,
is
you're right.
okay.
But that's the
So I
thing, like
always wondered.
yeah, I mean, it's an internal look at it, but a lot of these things, people when they see it, it's like, oh, I've dealt with that. I just didn't know how it came about. Because you see the end result, you just don't know how the result happened.
Yes.
Exactly.
You done talked about whiskey dick, the girl with the potato salad, the girl coming that
Yeah.
couldn't cook, like all of that. I'm just sitting here like this is hilarious. But so I feel like it's the best page on Instagram. Now a couple of fellas probably gonna be mad if they girl watching it now or girls that are being pursued. I just think
Right.
it's genius. I just think we
Thank
need
you.
more of that because it calms
We
us
do.
down. Because the content with us fighting each other back and forth and all of these little
Yeah.
quick reels in the car, parked in the car
Yeah.
with no resolution. I feel like your stuff it has a little. I feel like your stuff has a little bit of resolution. Like at the end of the day, both sides are struggling. Women, we'll
Yeah.
go post a meme in a minute. You'll know when we hurting.
Right. Right.
We tell on ourselves.
Yeah.
But with y'all, we can't get a read on it. Like y'all,
Mhm.
you might go on
Yeah,
to
we
Dustin
find
LeBoy or whatever his name is, posting talking shit, but we don't know
right.
what y'all be going through. We don't know.
Exactly. Yeah, men are coy about their feelings for the most part.
Not thanks to you. No, they're not. They can't be now because we're just gonna ask. Can you imagine a girl pulling up one of your skits and showing it to her man or showing it to a dude that's trying to holler at her? Or
Right.
has anybody ever told you they've done that? Like, have you ever heard stories behind your content?
Like somebody showing it to somebody else for some reason?
Yeah, like a girl showing it to her guy or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I've not from the standpoint of like, is this what y'all be doing? But more from a standpoint of like, they think it's funny, or like they'll send it to their guy, like, as like, then we go through this. Or really, what people do is they'll tag their significant other in the skit and laugh
That's
or
what I was
say,
wondering.
this is what I do, or like, the pepper thing skit, somebody will be like, this was
The,
me the other day, or something like. So like people would do stuff
that
like
got
that.
me.
Yeah.
That really got me. I thought it was so funny. But how does your skits impact your dating life now? I know a girl inspired some of it, but what's it looking like on Mo's heel?
I mean, I've only had to be honest with you, I've only had a couple people like be like, so like, is this really how you are? Like, how is it? And I'm just like, no, I mean, it's one of those things where like I'm a creative person. You know what I mean? Like some of these are direct and indirect experiences. It's no different than a writer for a scary movie doesn't have 17 bodies in the backyard. That's not what that means. Quentin Tarantino ain't just running around screaming racial slurs at people. Like he's not some
Well, we hope he
outward.
ain't.
Well, we never know at the end of the day.
We don't know.
but but at the end of the day, like some of these experiences are not actually me. There's just me creating experiences because I know they exist. I'm just good at being creative in that way. But I've had people ask, and I might have some people that might be a little bit paranoid, but like most people know that it's just humor and I'm being funny and this is just me being in a creative space.
Yeah, well, because I mean, most comedians draw from their personal life. So I would think that anybody
Yeah.
that dates you would be like, he's talking about me right now. And then all her girls that know she dealing with you, sending her your skits like, oh, that was you. You can't cook. That was you with the razor. Like, yeah, I'd be paranoid as shit.
Sure. I
I
mean,
didn't just,
sure. People would be paranoid about around comedians anyway. They'd be like, if I say something, it's going to end up on stage. Like, no, unless it's
yeah.
crazy enough, then it might. But otherwise, I don't be, I don't be like waiting for people to do stuff. Like, things happen, but like, and then on
Right.
top of that, I'm respectful. Even if something did happen, I would never directly use my name or be like, this was from so and so 2 years ago. Like, I would never do nothing like that.
Yeah. So do you have mentors in the game that kind of guide you, or are you more like a one man show? I know some people have folks around them, some people that have had people write material for them. What does your system and your village look like?
Now from the inner circle stuff, that's 100% me. I write everything, I film everything, I edit everything 100%. I don't get any help with the inner circle at all. As far as stand up goes, I do have a couple OGs. Keith Bender, he's a real renowned comic here in Columbus, Ohio, or in general. He's been in the game a very long time. And as of recent, Mark Gregory, he's an OG comic out of Dayton, Ohio, who's recently kind of taking me under his wing a little bit. I've taken some of his comedy class, but also I see him in New York, and we've gotten a chance to kind of build some rapport and establish like a little bit more of like a relationship to where I'll probably lean on him more as I go through my career. So those have been the two so far that have been, my main, consistent mentors in the comedy game so far.
Got it. And you celebrated a milestone with some
Yeah,
content.
yeah, yeah.
Tell us about that. That's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Well,
All
there's
of
a
the
couple.
views
Which
count.
one? The 1 year anniversary of Inner Circle?
Yes, the 1 year
Yeah.
anniversary. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So it's been a year since I created the first Inner Circle skit. Not my first skit, but my first Inner Circle skit. It's been a year. I've done my trajectory has been slower than the standards of slower social media, but I've already hit on TikTok. I did my Inner Circle hashtag has done well over 1 million views, and then
Mm.
um, man, in general on Instagram, I haven't tallied the views, but I know I'm over 1 million, well over 1 million views. I'm probably at like maybe 2.5 million views. And then the one today that I posted has done as an ad almost 1 million views by itself. That one ad that I paid out of my pocket for the last year that has gotten me 80-90% of my followers. Today was the 1 year for that I created and posted that video. Um, so those have been my two milestones lately. There's been some dope
Congrats. First
milestones.
of all, that's a big deal. People out here trying to get 100 views. Folks trying to get 1,000 views.
Right.
Or they try
Right.
to, collab. There's a lot of, in most industries, people are always trying to collab with somebody to get the
Right.
views and get the followers up and get exposure. And you
Mhm.
didn't take that route.
I
So this
did
is all
not.
organic.
No, 100%. That's why it's crazy. A lot of people like, man, your engagement be crazy. Is because it's organic followers. I don't have a lot of phantom followers because they came from the ad. They're real people. So all the people that I have, like somebody that might have double the followers, it's weird how the algorithms work. Like they might have more views, but I'll have just as many likes and comments. You know what I'm saying? So my engagement is so
Yeah.
much more authentic, and it's real people. You know what I mean? So that's the good
Yeah.
thing about me doing the ad is just like they're all real people for the
Yeah.
most part. So
But folks be out here buying followers. So
they do. They
it took me a
100%
while to
do.
learn about the numbers. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
The
you can
followers
you
don't
can
matter. It's
tell.
just not.
Yeah, you can tell when somebody bought followers because the engagement with the followers don't match at all. You can
The
see the
math ain't
views.
mathing
Yeah, the math ain't mathing. Yeah, the
at
math ain't
all.
mathing. And I took that route. I even still to this day, I've yet to get some big meme reposts. A lot of these people that go viral, a lot of the things that work for them is they get a lot of those big meme pages repost them, and that's where a lot of followers might come from. Like I haven't gotten that. I've never had like some celebrity cosign where they posted my stuff. I've had, certain people of status posted, but nobody that's of status enough that will cause it garner any like major big attention. Like all this has just been me literally shoveling out of the dirt and putting up my own money to get these organic people to follow me.
But don't you love that? Like the idea that this is literally your work and you can look back and say nobody. I mean, I'm gonna say handout, but literally it's your grind. It's
Yeah,
100% you. And
yeah. It's a different. I think for me, it's like I built the stairs that I took. I didn't just take the stairs. I
come
built the
on now,
stairs that
you
I took.
better get
You know what
these
I'm saying?
bars.
Yeah, I'm gonna get these bars off. But
You
that's
better
the
get these
thing.
bars off.
But yeah, I don't. That's why I feel like my journey so far and the things that I've had to do to get where I'm at is much long term in the future. When I get to whatever pinnacle I plan to reach, people will be able to look back on my journey and be like, "I respect it. Like he didn't. It wasn't no handout. I didn't get this cosign or that cosign, or I didn't go on tour with this person or that person early on in my career, and nobody was just handing me stage time in New York, and I didn't get all my followers from this cosign and reposts or that. None of that, man. All this stuff is just me literally putting my boots on the ground and just not settling for waiting on anybody to do anything for me. I'm going out doing this all by myself and figuring it out and using my network and my relationships to try to get places that I need to get. But also I'm genuinely humble and I show a lot of humility to people, because I understand like the same people you see on the way up is the same people you see on the way down.
On
So
the
I
way down.
always try
Right.
to treat people with respect. I try to be genuine with people when I meet people, and it's worked for me. And I know long term that's going to benefit me and getting me where I want to go because people respect my craft and my grind because of how I got there.
And I think it's really important for people to hear that because I know a lot of folks, and I even did this myself, have things they want to do. They got ideas, but because they're watching other people's journeys just skyrocket, they see in the elevator just shoot up, that they feel like I'm not going to get that because I'm not connected to X, Y, and Z. So never mind. So people will,
Hmm.
stall on doing things that they know damn well they're called to do because
Right.
looking at everybody else's plate. So
Hmm.
that's huge. That you can be an example that you can get it out the mud, do your own thing,
Right.
champion yourself, advocate for your
Hmm.
damn self, and just,
Exactly.
yeah, and see where that gets you. So I'll tell you this though, see, last season had quite a few people come on, and again, I didn't have big people. I had my friends who are all very
Hmm.
much introverted people that were
Hmm.
like doing me favors doing episodes. But
Hmm.
everybody had an idea or something in their mind that they were planning on doing at that time, whether it was
Hmm.
with fashion, with art, with writing, and we spoke about it.
Hmm.
And months later, every single one of those guests are doing exactly what they said they were going to do. So you
That's
got to
dope.
manifest like here. So
You
what's
gotta
next for you? What's
manifest.
in your mind right now? What is it that you see by December 31st, 2022? What's next for you?
I by that time I'm hoping to be hosting or featuring on some tour with some known comedian or a comedian. By that time I'm hoping to have my script for SIRcle written. Um, by that time I'm hoping to at least be in some type of TV show or commercial. Like I'm hoping to get my acting stuff started by that time. So I'm hoping I'm featuring on tour. I hope to have my script written or picked up by then, and I'm hoping to be featured or doing some cameo in some type of something on TV.
So now that you've said it,
Now that I
it's
said it,
out in the
it's
atmosphere.
gotta happen. It's gotta
You
happen.
said it. You said it. You got to give birth to this baby now. There is
It.
nothing. There is nothing that is said on this platform
It's
that does
slowly
not happen.
manifesting. Slowly manifesting.
I don't know. I'm not saying I'm that girl, but at this point, I'm feeling like there's something here. It's
You a good
happened.
luck
It
charm.
ain't. I ain't been wrong yet. So that's
Hey,
what it's
I'm
gonna
now.
be.
I gotta keep it that way.
You literally have to do it. Like this conversation has to
Hmm.
happen at the end of the year. So somebody that's thinking about not even necessarily just comedy, just something creative, period, that's kind
Hmm.
of sitting on their hands right now and a little just hesitant, what advice would you give them?
Start. Start. You can't. Nothing is ever going to happen if you don't start. That's the first thing you do. You have to
Right.
start, and you have to be consistent and committed. If you're not committed, you can't be consistent unless you're committed. Those go hand in hand. They're very parallel. So, and when you're committed, that means, well, it's Eric Thomas. This stuck with me. I learned this back in college. Eric Thomas said this: like commitment is doing what you said you were going to do long after the mood has left you. If you're not
I remember
committed to
that.
something, you're not going to consistently do it. There are a lot of videos that you see on my page that you don't know almost didn't get made. Like there's been many a times where I was like, man, this is stupid. And I was going to erase it, or I just wasn't going to finish it, or I didn't feel like doing it. Or there's some videos you don't even know. I was dead tired and I might have fell asleep filming it, but you wouldn't know because I put it up still.
You
But
took
that's
a
just
nap.
my commitment to the craft. I'm dead serious too. There's been so many videos where I'm like, man, this ain't getting out tomorrow. This ain't gonna happen.
They have so much
But
energy behind them. Now I'm gonna go back and try to figure out which one it was.
yeah, you won't be able to tell because there's one video in particular. I'm like, I don't know how they either think I'm really high or I'm dead tired because I
Look,
was
I
so
already told you
tired.
about your eyes. You look high.
Yeah, yeah, I was so tired making this one video and it ended up being a good video. Even I think the last video I made, the Valentine's Day video. Um, I was just over it, and I was like, I'm not about to. This was stupid. I didn't feel like I was just. I was like, this is dumb. It's not even funny no more. I don't even want to put this out. I just, I lost all motivation for the video. I was having like writer's block. I was like, man, fuck this
Man.
video. So I just threw it together at the end, and I threw it up, and the shit went crazy. Like I was like,
Ain't that
okay,
nuts?
so dumb. It was
How,
like I almost
nobody
did
sees
not put
your
this
stuff
out.
the way you see it.
No, nobody does. But I say that to say you have to be committed to whatever it is that you feel like you want to do. If you're not committed to it, you're not going to do it. If it's not something that you're passionate about, then you're not gonna be consistent. Like simply put, you got to find what you love to do. And if you don't love to do it without getting a dollar for it, then you're not going to do it when you're getting
That
paid.
was the next one. Everybody's looking for a bag of what they're doing out the gate. People are trying
No,
to
yeah,
monetize their creativity immediately.
mm-mm,
What are your thoughts on
yeah.
that?
See, I'm different. I'm different because so I'll tell you. So when you asked me like what you asked me in the beginning, what got me into comedy and what did I start it? So I already knew part of my personality was humor, being funny. I love laughing. I watched comic views so much as a kid. I was so astonished by it. There's a video by Alan Watts. It's a video by Alan Watts. What is basically about if money. It's called "If Money Were No Object," and the video is about if money were no object, what would you do? What's the thing if you didn't have to worry about money? What is the thing that you would do? And when I thought about that, I was like, I would want to make people laugh. And then the video says, do that. If money were no object and you had and whatever he says that is to do, and the first thing that comes to your mind, that's the thing that you love to do. So why not do that? Ultimately, if you're consistent at something long enough, you're naturally going to get better at it. 10,000 hours. So I knew in my heart from the beginning. I watched that video my freshman year of college, and it just never left my brain. So I knew in the back of my mind, whatever degree I got, whatever I went to college for, whatever job I got, I knew that's not what I was going to end up doing because I knew in my heart
That's
I
the
wanted to
word.
do comedy. So now you fast forward to now, it's not hard for me to freaking have red eyes and do a video when I'm dead tired or stay up for 20 hours in New York because I love doing it. I don't care about money. Yeah, I'm gonna make money. That'll come. I'm not doing this for money. I'm literally doing this for the craft. Like all the money that I spend and invest, I spent a lot of money on that ad, but I didn't care because I knew the exposure was getting me long term. I was gonna make that money 15 times
You
over.
make it back.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm not gonna do it for money. Money will come. I need to my theory is this. If you do something long enough before you get paid, you'll get good enough to dictate how much you get paid. So why are you trying to get the
Ah.
bag for what you're gonna get right now when you're not gonna be able to control what you get later because you're so focused on money today?
And that seems
So
like that's why people, I see a lot of folks bouncing from thing to thing to thing because it's like, let me
yeah,
see if I can make money doing this. This is what everybody's doing right now. Like a big thing is
yeah,
folks trying to be social media gurus, teaching folks how to grow their accounts. Which there are some
mhm,
folks with professional sales backgrounds, but now it's like everybody's trying to do it. And you can see folks
yeah,
going and taking other folks' content, repackaging it, and selling it to
yeah,
help
because they're
people
trying to
be
fill
like
a
that
void.
person.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
trying to fill a void and they're not really passionate and they think that everybody has this crabs in a bucket mentality when it comes to success in the entertainment industry. And
Yeah.
I think people don't understand like when you get to whatever pinnacle, whenever you're standing in your square of success, whatever that is,
Yeah.
you're the only person that's gonna be standing there. Ain't nobody gonna be standing in your square and you like your God made a path for you and a square for you specifically. I think a lot of people lose sight of that. They think that it's one big ass square and 15 people could stand in it, and then if I'm not one of the 15 people, I didn't make it. Like no, there's one square for everybody. When you stand in it, it's only gonna be room for you. Why are you worried about what everybody else is doing? Do what you're supposed to be doing and find your purpose, and God gonna lead you where you're gonna be going. And when you get there, you're gonna be the only one in that square. I
Yeah.
know this, so I'm not really pressed about money.
That is such, I think that takes a huge load off your shoulders and it literally allows you to just focus on your damn craft
One
because
hundred
you know the end
percent.
result.
I do. Yeah, I have so much faith that like I don't really be pressed when it comes to certain things, and like when certain comics throw shows for certain amounts of money, I don't be worried about money. A lot of what I do right now, I'm not getting paid for.
It's
I'm
literally
not.
passion driven.
It's passion 100, and that's the other thing about my journey is I'm doing it out of the love of what I love to do and the love of comedy. I'm not doing it because I know I'm going to be some rich guy today tomorrow. I might never be rich in this. It's a lot of funny ass comedians that are funnier than some of your favorite comedians that ain't on that platform. It's just the reality of it. It's a lot of comedians out here that's touring, selling out crowds with 1,000 followers.
Yeah. And that's another thing. People get caught up on the vanity metrics. I think that's what scares everybody from like taking a step because they're looking at these numbers and they don't
Yeah.
know the behind the scenes.
No.
You can have a whole lot of followers broke, sad, ain't moving nowhere, but you paid a nice little price for them. So
Exactly, exactly. I mean, I have a lot of followers, but I mean, I can't sell out a crowd like a Rob Ward or anybody else out here from Ohio that has way less followers than me. But these dudes have been doing it in seasoning great comics. Like they're fire comics. And if they go to freaking Dania, Florida and just post that they're going to Dania, they'll sell out. If I post I'm going to Dania, Florida, I don't know. I'm not going to I don't all I'll say is I don't think I'll be a little nervous. Okay. I'll be
well, you should
very
be a little
nervous.
nervous. It means you care.
Yeah, I care. I'll be nervous. Like, I don't know if this is gonna sell out. I don't have those kind of followers where they've transferred into selling out shows yet. But I say that to say none of the metrics matter. Get good at what you do. That's all that matters. And that's all I'm trying to do
Get
right now. Is
it.
get good at what I do.
Honestly. I think you're gonna do it. And I think because again, it's been spoken. It's been spoken into the
It's been
atmosphere.
spoken.
Feel like 2022 is gonna be a big year for you. Because that's
I
just
think so too.
yeah, it's such valuable content. It's refreshing. It gives us a break from everything. And as far as the dating world, especially with that particular, with those skits, I feel like we look at them and we can't be mad at each other.
Yeah,
I
you'd be
can't be mad at
surprised.
you.
There's
You struggling.
some feminists out there that hate it. They don't like it.
If you get mad about that, I don't know. I don't care who you are, what group you're associated. You get mad about that. You need a nap. You need a hug. You
You
need a
need a lot of
hug. You need a
things.
nap. You need a
You
Xanax.
need a lot of
You probably
things.
need the friend. You
Exactly. You
probably
need the
need the
friend.
third member of the
That's
trip.
all it is. You need
Just take
somebody
care of
out of the
yourself.
three.
You
Right.
can. It's okay. We can all say we have needs, and it's okay to just say you have them. It'll make life easier for you. But I want to thank you so much for coming on. I'm looking forward to seeing what else you do in the future.
Mhm.
It's gonna be huge. I
Thank you
feel it.
so much. Thank you so
Yes.
much.
And we'll hear more from him again. Y'all got his information. Make sure y'all following him. And I want to thank you guys. Thank you guys all for tuning in today. Lord, I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I'm doing kitchen cocktails. I actually got the Douce slushy today, so I got to throw this in there. I know there was a whole situation last year with the girls getting yelled at for twerking. I'm gonna just let y'all know right now. I done got halfway through this thing. If I drank this whole thing on an empty stomach, I would probably twerk in church. So I just need to throw that out there. The Douce
That's
slushy is
funny.
strong. Don't blame nobody for twerking. Leave folks alone. But anyways, guys, remember, take care of each other. We are still in a pandemic. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Socially distance. And when you get a free moment, remember to clean out your dirty bag. Till next time.